Well, good morning, fourth and fifth graders. Listen, I got a little intro here in the fourth grade book. I'm going to be working mostly in the fourth grade book. And fifth graders, just follow along on these videos that I'm putting up for the fourth grade because it's good review on stuff you should know. So it should be pretty easy for you, but just in case you forgot a few little things along the way, this is going to help you a lot. And it does parallel the same concepts that you're studying in the fifth grade book. We're starting a new unit, Unit 11, and that is going to be all about angles. Everything's got an angle to it. You may not think about that, but everything has an angle to it. So we're going to look at page for the fourth graders in your book 599 and 600. There's an exercise there. Go ahead and do those 2 pages. Work through them, see how much you remember, because that's just basically a review of stuff you should know. We all forget things along the way, so no worries. Go ahead, work through it, and as we go through this unit, we'll firm up all those concepts. What I want you to do today is I want you to look at the vocabulary. You've got to know the vocabulary. It will help you solve the problems. If it's asking you to do something and it's part of the vocabulary of the lesson and you don't know what that word means, you're stumped. So spend a little time on the vocabulary and get that straight in your head. There are 8 new vocabulary words in this lesson, and let's just go over them. And that's on page 6, right after 600. The first one is acute angle. And that doesn't mean it's cute and pretty. An acute angle is an angle that is defined as greater than 0 degrees but less than 90 degrees. That's an acute angle. So the angle that exists between these 2 lines is less than 90 degrees. It's greater than 0, obviously. It'd be a straight line if it was 0. But it's less than 90 degrees. Now, hopefully you know what 90 degrees is. Let's do that real quick just to make sure. 90-degree angle. First of all, let's look at the circle. If that circle is broken into quadrants, the degrees are measurement around the circle. The angles that are formed within that defines the angle. 90 degrees means it's exactly at right angle to itself. And it's usually notated by a little square in the corner. It tells you that that is 90 degrees. So now an acute angle is going to be less than 90. It will not be at 90 because then it's a right angle. Got it? So the angle less than that 90 degrees is an acute angle. The next 2 words, and boy, I sure hope you know this one. Let's go back to our circle. Clock. That's a clock. Hey, it's the best I could do. The hands in the clock move around the clock in that direction. So moving from left to right So left to right is clockwise. So when you say clockwise, it's moving around left to right. Now, if you change that and have it go in the opposite direction, just like time going backwards, that's counterclockwise. Got it? So clockwise is right to left. I'm sorry, left to right. That is clockwise. Counterclockwise is right to left. Think of the clock. What way does the hands normally move? That's clockwise. For time to go backwards, that's counterclockwise. The next word in your vocabulary is degree. And hopefully you'll all grow up and have lots of degrees. But like many words in the English language, it does have different meanings. Degree is usually notated by a little dot like that, little circle. And degrees can be used to measure an angle, because around a circle, a complete circle is 360 degrees. So any point along that journey would be the degree of that angle. So degree, for example, this looks to me like about a 30-degree angle. So you would write it with that little circle. Degrees also can be used to measure temperature. It's 45 degrees outside. You use the same symbol. The only difference is we have several ways of measuring temperature. So it can either be Fahrenheit or centigrade. Those are the two most common ones that you should be familiar with. So degree is a measurement of an angle and a measurement of a temperature. The next word is protractor. Now, some of you have seen a protractor. I know we had just pretty much introduced this to the 4th grade before we had to go out. A protractor is a tool that is used to measure the degrees of an angle. And it goes in two directions, and because this is 1/2 of a circle, remember I told you a circle is 360 degrees, 1/2 of that circle is 180 degrees. So it goes from 0 to 180 in that direction, and it also goes from 0 to 180 in that direction. So regardless of the angle that you're trying to measure, you can measure it either way. This point right here is 90 degrees, remember? Right angle. So if I have an angle, let's just say the angle, and let me use a different color here so you can see it. I don't know if it actually shows up on the video or not. But let's just say this is my angle. Right there. That angle can be measured in two different ways, because there's this angle, but there's also that angle. So looking on the protractor, if it's defined that way, we're going to start here and we're going to go in this direction on the protractor until we get to the point here, and then we're going to look on the scale because this is marked off all the way around it in degrees. And so we see this is 90. It's further than 90, so this could be maybe 105 degrees. And you would see that number on the protractor. Now, if the angle that we're given, and oh, by the way, if this is 105 degrees from here to here, then from here to here would be 180 minus 105. This distance here would then be 75 degrees because it has to total 180. So if it's 105 to there, another 75 degrees will take you to 180. So this section of it is 75 degrees. This section is 105. If that angle is less, if the angle that we're asking you to find is like that, less than the 90 degrees, then you look on your scale again and you see that this one is 80 degrees. Got it? If you have a protractor at home, look at it. There's a point at the bottom, and that sits right at the point of your angle. Straight line across, and then you can see where the other part of the angle crosses the protractor. It defines what that angle is. Then the next term here is a ray. And I'm not quite sure why they have just that one term, but a ray is a point that moves in one direction. So from this point, moving in that direction. This is what a ray looks like, as opposed to a line, which can go as far as you want in both directions. This part of it here, if you're defining this, would be defined by a ray. Right angle is one of your vocabulary words. And again, a right angle is an angle that measures 90 degrees exactly. That's a right angle. Then the last word on your list is vertex. What's a vertex? The vertex is the point. Because, to take you back in the vocabulary, these two lines, they meet right here. But these two lines of this angle basically continue off unless defined. And as it continues off, this is a ray. Remember we had ray as one of our words? So from here, in that direction, that's a ray. And so is this a ray. From here, going in that direction. Vertex is this point right here where those two rays come together, where they touch. And in this case, there's one. But on a triangle, you've got three. On a square, you've got four. So it's where those lines come together. It's where they meet. So that's your vocabulary, those 8 words. You can go on 600A, 600B, and go through the exercise there. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about angles and fractional parts of a circle. Remember, a circle is what we use to determine the degree of an angle. And we break that circle into parts. That circle is broken into 4 parts. So each one is 1/4. Altogether, it's 360 degrees. So each one of those 1/4 would be equal to 90. Because 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90 equals 360. It's the nice thing about math. It always has an answer. Anyhow, that's our lesson for today. 4th and 5th graders, I hope you're taking care of yourself. Stay safe. We'll get back to you again tomorrow. We'll begin with lesson 11.1. Look ahead at that lesson. Get an idea of what you're in for. All right. Have a good day.